if it hasn't dawned on you, respect, at least as we're going to present today, is really an extension of a much broader subject area of diversity. And if you look at me, I'm not what you would consider to be the most diverse individual. I am exactly a middle-aged white male. What you wouldn't realize about me, though, is that I have quite a bit of self-selected diversity in my family. I married. How many of you, when you met your significant other, if you have a significant other, you knew within a couple weeks or a month, this was it. This was what they talk about, and you got married, and the rest is history. Well, after about that was the first history. My wife and I both waited until we were older to get married, and quite frankly, by the time you're in your 30s, you kind of wonder, is that really something? Are you ever going to meet the right one? Well, we met at a party, and sure enough, within 30 days, we both said, this is it. But we both had a knack for dating outside our respective circles. And my wife, I was raised a good Catholic boy in Columbus, Ohio, and my wife was raised a good Jewish girl from Cincinnati, Ohio. So we thought, well, this is going to be interesting. The one thing that we really did have in common was very strong family histories of guilt. We knew that with that in common, we could make anything work. So we did, but we got engaged relatively quickly, and we really thought about what was it going to take to raise a family with different religious upbringings. And so we had long talks about the holidays, what we would do and what we would not do, and how that would affect our children. But at the end of the day, everything that we talked about in those early days came down to the kids. And here's a very recent shot. My wife and I took the kids to Washington, D.C. this past week for the Blossom Festival, or Cherry Blossom Festival. Anybody ever been there for that? Simply a magnificent event. And we really wanted our kids to grow up to be the kind of kids that wherever they were, other people would say, you know what, I'm so glad I got to meet them because they're just a nice person. I feel good being around them. We wanted them to be the kind of kids who felt comfortable working and playing and whatever they did with any other kid. And we intentionally moved. I was in the West Side. I lived in the West Side when my wife and I worked at first met in Avon Lake. And she informed me that you could count the Jews at Avon Lake on one hand, and that she wouldn't be really comfortable there. So we moved east, and we ended up in Solon, Ohio, and very specifically selected the neighborhood because it was rich with differences in people. And the thing that strikes me to this day, that when you look out and you watch the kids playing in our neighborhood, you think they care what size house you live in, how many garages your car has. They don't even care what color your skin is. What do kids want to do? Play and have fun. And as I look outside of our cul-de-sac, which is made up of very, very many differences to us adults, the kids are seemingly oblivious to it and couldn't be happier. So my motivation, and there's a couple other things too. How many of you feel that if you look at the last 10 years, our society has become increasingly uncivil with how we treat each other? If you just listen to the news, if you listen to the people who are paid to be abrasive towards other people, I think we have actually lost something in society. And I'm one of those people who happens to be very collaborative in the way I work with others. My wife is more of she'll admit, she's more of a kind of a lone ranger, likes to do her own thing. But if you work with other people, would you agree that the way you work with other people, it impacts the quality of your work experience and how much you enjoy your work in general? So my motivation, while maybe not being typical, is really, it comes down to something very basic. How many of you would wish the same thing for your kids? That when other people meet them, they say, gosh, I'm sure glad that they're one of my friends and I work with them. So that's why one of the reasons I do what I did. That said, our time is limited. I'm told I have to have you out by 9 o'clock this evening, so we have So here's what we're going to do. First of all, I do have a bias towards fun, if you haven't figured that out already. My father told me a long time ago, he said, Paul, we're not here for a long time, we're here for a good time. How many of you agree with that? Now, he told me that as I was heading out the door to my freshman year at the Ohio State University. So Mrs. Meshanko, my mother, was not altogether pleased with this timing. Because I did, my gosh, have fun at Ohio State. But actually, from a learning perspective, this is very important. When we actually are having fun, when we're taking in new information, it actually kind of primes the brain to store that information at a deeper level. And when we find it necessary in the future, to go back and recall that information with more ease. So there is kind of a method to my madness.